I'm sorry to have to meet with you again, and I'm also sorry to have to go behind my uncle's back. But since you're dating him, and by all impossibilities, things seem to be getting real with you both, I need to talk to you as his nephew. Nothing moves forward in life if you don't communicate with people. So I now have an open door policy. It's okay. What do you want to talk about? You'll be happy to hear that my uncle said that he wants to give you the world. Whatever you want. He wants to make you happy. And I know him. I know when he's BSing, and I know when something is just a business transaction to him, and for whatever reason, not putting you down, I just don't get the chemistry here. For whatever reason, he's really into you, and he wants to make you happy. The problem here is that you have a granddaughter out there. A legitimate granddaughter, blood. She ate my blood. And if you were to one day tell him, I don't want Brian in the picture and I want my son to know he's a father, well, my uncle's going to go through hell and high water to make sure you're happy. I understand completely why you would doubt me, given my track record. If you looked at my historical resume, I don't look like I'm a loyal person. But a lot has changed since the days of 2023 Christmas, when my hair was completely gray and I was drinking out of a evil mug. I've matured a little bit in my older years, and I made a deal with you. And when I make a deal with someone nowadays, no matter how inconvenient it may turn out, I keep it. So you don't have to worry about me breaking that deal under any circumstance. Alright, but the likelihood is I'm going to find her, and I'm going to start a happy life with her. And there's no telling if Joey or your daughter will ever have kids again. Meaning you may not be a grandmother. I mean, you are a grandmother. I'm sorry how I speak. You know what I mean, though. And it's easy to stand here in your grief and tell me that you have no interest in Charlotte. But 2 years from now, when all your friends are celebrating with their grandchildren, when things just hurt a little too much, and you feel alone and you know that I have Charlotte out there, you may change your mind and tell my uncle, and then my uncle will jump to it. And I can't have that. You come from a place of paranoia because of your child. And I get that. Back in the day when Miranda would remain silent leading up to the holidays, I would always get very paranoid about whether or not she would let me see Junior. It was always the last minute yes or no when it came to attending my house on holidays that drove me crazy. I'm the type of person who RSVPs early. She was not. So, leading up to Christmas, I would panic. Oh, great, I'm not going to see my grandson this year because Miranda's pissed off at me for something. So I understand your paranoia. You feel like someone's going to take away your daughter even though you don't have her right now. But that person's not going to be me. Again, I made a deal with you. I trust you right now. This version of you. But I need to secure myself. And I need to ensure that when I have my daughter, the only people I have to worry about coming after me is Miranda. Not all of Joey's family. Because I don't need that smoke. It's bad enough I'll probably have your mother looking for me. I'm not prepared for that. I can't handle Miranda, Agatha, and you. And Joey. I need some friends here. So look. When I find Charlotte, and I keep her to myself, if you ever want to see your granddaughter, speak to her, whatever, I'll make that happen between you and me. This is the first point in the conversation that I'm a little uncomfortable because you say between you and I don't really have an allegiance to you, but I do. And I only speak like this right now because you are not including my son in this, correct? Charlotte's biological father. Right. Because if Joey finds out, then he's taken her. And he has more claim to her than I do. It's not a problem. Because I'd like to think that he's happier right now not knowing. And I'd like to think that maybe his life will be a lot easier, as everyone is saying, if he has no connection to Miranda again. It'll also be easier for Miranda. Although I know you don't care about her happiness, no offense. I just think this way would be easier for all of us. You could be a grandmother whenever you want. As long as you keep my location secret, I'll fly you in on Christmas. If my uncle behaves and he agrees to all this, I'll let him in on it too. And I know things will never be normal for you, but I will try to make things as normal as possible. It's generous. I'm not used to generosity when it comes to my grandchildren. I appreciate that. It's very big of you, very mature of you, although I sense the desperation in this offer. As nice and convenient as that offer is for me, a grandmother who has always had to fight to see her grandchild, you understand why it would be a little weird for me to secretly talk to you about Charlotte and have this open line of communication behind the back of my son. Need I not remind you who he is in this situation? You understand. I know. To fly in on Christmas, have to lie to people, and spend it with me, non-blood. It's weird. I know. Who knows if I'll be dating someone. But you have to look at the alternative. If your son finds out that he's the father, is he in the right state of mind to take care of her? Would you rather worry about him relapsing while taking care of your daughter with Melissa versus me? I have experience taking care of a baby. I am paranoid. I am the best dad. I believe I may not be a lot of good things, but I know I'm a great dad. With me, you'll know where your granddaughter is. You can contact her whenever you want, and you know she's in good hands. And I'm never dating someone that you wouldn't trust. Who knows what's going on with Miranda right now? And who knows if Melissa will stay on course as she is. I'm just asking you to work with me because I can't work with my uncle. He's love-struck and he's going to put you over me. Blood is thicker than water don't apply when it comes to you. Here's the thing. I applaud you for going to bat for your kid like this. It's very inspiring, and it's what I want to see in a person. I love seeing a man stick up for his daughter and go to bat for a female and put himself last. You deserve an applaud for that. The lengths you're going to just find this girl. I love to see it. I wish my son had that kind of gumption, but instead he gave up his rights to Junior, remember? Unfortunately, Brian, as much as I like your offer, and as refreshing as it is to hear someone openly allow me to see my grandchildren, I must decline. But I have no intention of being a grandmother to Charlotte. I have no intention of being in her life. I mean that. So you do what you need to do, and I can't stop your uncle from wanting to be in Charlotte's life. Not that I think he wants to be, but I am never going to go to him and tell him I want your nephew's daughter. Okay? Alright. I trust you. But I have to let you know right now. Victor is taking a lie detector test. And if he passes, I'm not going to look for my daughter. I made that deal with him. But he ain't going to pass because I know he's lying. So he's going to fail. And I'm going to go to Montana. And I'm going to find Charlotte. And I'm taking her and I'm running off. My uncle's not going to know where I am. Miranda's not going to know. Your son's not going to know. And unfortunately, because you can't make a deal with me today, neither are you. So are you sure you don't want anything to do with your granddaughter before I take her away? I wanted to be respectful and ask you this. Well, maybe you'll believe me when I say this and understand it a little bit more. Same reason why Joey didn't want to even look at Charlotte. Because he thought that you were the father. Well, I don't need a mini Miranda. I need Junior. Understood. I know your faith may be a little corrupted right now, given everything that's happened, but I do believe that Junior's with you all the time. But I understand where you're coming from, and I wish you the best with my uncle. Thanks for meeting with me today. I'm dating your mother. Neither one of us are oblivious to that. And as a man who's dating your mother, who you have a perception of prior to this situation, I wanted to just talk to you and tell you that I don't have bad intentions. You may be genuine, maybe. It's just hard for me to believe it where I sit, knowing what I know about you. And it's my mom. No matter what happened between us, me growing up, whatever, recently, anything, I'm still protective of her. Especially after her last boyfriend. Her last boyfriend killed my son. You know, so you're walking into a very hard situation. I had conversations with Salvatore. I had dinner with that man. He killed my son. So, you can't blame me. I know. You probably have read things about me on the internet. You probably listen to comments and hear what the media says about the woman who died in my church. And the history between our families is ugly, right? Salvatore's side, all that aside and stuff, you were still rude to my mom plenty of times. There were still times you met with her and you were just flat out rude. And that's hard for a son to sit with, you know? It's my job to protect her. I don't care what society says. That's my mother. I'm always gonna freaking put a shield and sword up in front of her, no matter how she treats me. You know, you were rude to her. I was rude to her. I was, but that was because of your grandmother. I had perceptions of your mom as well, and I saw her as an adversary. Our families have been at odds forever. Now that Agatha stepped down and, you know, I've looked at my institute a little bit differently and I'm taking a more hands-off approach, I see your mom as this angel that saved me, honestly. Angel that saved you. I know you're a religious man. I'm a bit religious too, I guess. Whatever definition you want to put next to that. But angel that saved you, look, you may like my mom, but you don't gotta lay it on thick. My mom's not an angel. I can't remember the last time anyone called her that. I don't know if you're trying to like oversell or what, but come on, dude, you're talking to me. Like I can see through people. And again, you're walking into a chair that's covered in blood. You're putting on an application here when the last applicant burned the whole place down. No, really, there's Jonathan BM and Jonathan AM. Before Mildred and after Mildred. It's awkward for me to sit here and try to put into words what she makes me feel as an individual. But she truly does light up my life. I love spending time with her. I honestly want to spend the rest of my life with her. And I know you have your viewpoint of me, and I don't know how to not be an adversary to you. And I'm asking you how. You say all that. Call my mom an angel, she makes you feel this way, that way, all that in between. Don't you think it's a little quick? I don't care about age. I'm not an ageist. I believe love at any stage, whatever. But don't you think it's a little quick to be talking like that? Wasn't your relationship with Miranda pretty quick? Didn't you fall in love with her pretty quick? I know it may sound crazy that someone in their older age, older than you, I would say, right? I'm older than you. I know you, from your perspective, you may look at me and think that type of love doesn't happen. But it does. It still does. Especially when you've been in a marriage that has drained you, like you were dating Dracula for so many years. Your mom is a special woman, and I try to tell her this all the time. This whole reality show, what are we? Season 10? Approximately 100 episodes in each season. That's 1,000 episodes. And before that, there were 1,000 or something like that. But this whole world that people see on the internet, it's because of her, because of her viewpoints as a mother-in-law. There's something special about her. And I feel it. And I want to protect your mom. I don't want to talk down to her like her ex-boyfriend Sal. I don't want to hurt your family. I want to uplift it. I would never hurt your family. It's a miracle to me that someone from the Montgomerys can be in love with someone from the Rileys. Not for nothing, my wife had my last name, my family name, Riley. Tried to love a Montgomery, tried to make that work, and man, didn't work. So, I don't know if our families are meant to mesh like that. Maybe that's just superstition, or maybe I watch too much Game of Thrones. Well, Brian's a little cuckoo. He's not really like a lot of people. He's kind of overly emotional, kind of irrational, read too many books, watched too many CW shows, thinks he's this hero. But your mom is someone who has accepted her flaws. She accepted them and turned them into something awesome. And I'm learning from her like that. My nephew doesn't know how to do that. He thinks any flaw makes him worth dying or something. I don't know. He's a martyr. A sad, depressing, droning on individual that I love dearly, but we're not on the same page right now. See, hold on though. One thing I don't like, even in my own family and work, whatever, when you sit at a table with me and talk bad about somebody, I know that when I leave this table and leave that room, you're gonna say the same thing about me. And if you'll sit here and talk about your nephew like that, when you say blood is thicker than water and all that, right? Like my mom, relate to her in that way. When you'll talk about your own flesh and blood like that, how am I supposed to trust you with my family, with my mom? She does you wrong, she crosses you, it's not all hunky-dory and peachy and flowers and sunshine one day, how are you going to treat my mother? Because Salvatore, I don't like how Salvatore treated my mom. I don't need this again. That's a good point. You have no reason to trust me. You only have my word. But I will say this, Joseph. You know what it's like to fall in love with a woman who makes you betray your family, who makes you forget where you've come from. You will do anything for her to keep her happy. In your case, it went too far and you got a divorce. It didn't work out, but I feel that way about your mom. I want to do everything for her. I want to make her happy. So I'm on your team. I'm only here to protect your mother. That's it. That is absolutely it. So I do hope that as her son, we can have some form of relationship moving forward. Doesn't have to be, let's all watch the game. Let's sit in church together, although that would be lovely. I just don't want an adversary. I want a team. You love your mom, I love your mom.